So, we might well have it. See what's going on here. Any info on what's happening? Seraphina. Okay, I think we might have it, but if there comes a time when y'all don't see me, just let me know, because it seems like we were having a lot of difficulties. Now it's showing the health of the stream being pretty good, and maybe we've got it. Man, I'm telling you, it's always some kind of difficulties whenever it comes to trying to set this crap up. Seems like every morning at 9:30 on the nose, our internet dips down to nothing for whatever reason. My husband did some checks on this to find out what's going on, and it seemed like at 9:30 every morning the internet dips down to nothing, and until about 10, which, by the way, happens to be the time I picked to do this live stream every day whenever I was doing it every day. You know, it's just my really screwed up luck, or we all have a very high amount of energy and we're sucking the life out of the internet together. But good morning, Omira, Angie, Mitch, Seraphina, Jennifer, Steampunk. It is good to see y'all as ever. And it seems like the room is loading up. I'm really sorry about all of that disaster. And so now we'll say that the live stream began at 10 o'clock, and from there, maybe we could do this show. What I wanted to actually talk about today was the importance of making things that you would use on your altar, or as your own talismans that you would wear and things of that nature, or at least making something your own. Whether it's your tools, your jewelry, the clothes that you wear, anything that you can create by hand, it makes it extremely powerful, because you're sewing or you're melding or you're putting in one way, form, or fashion all your thoughts and ideas into it. Your wishes, your dreams, your hopes, your goals. And if it's about your all-powerful religion or your gods and your goddesses, hey Siren, how's it going? Then it makes it all the more stronger. So, yes, I can never specify enough about how important it is that we put our own energy, our own work, our own life's blood, or hopes into something that we would be using from then forward, you know, by making it our own. How is the stream going? Is everybody seeing it now? Yes, it would be very important if I'm sitting here going on and it's echoing like a big dog to everybody else and blowing everybody's eardrums out. That would just be god awful, right? So I thought that would be a good topic. What is something, one thing, or more if you've got it, that each of you have made yourself to include in your practice, on your altar, or to wear on your person? What have you made yourself to go with your craft? I mean, after all, I mean, what does witchcraft mean other than to craft things, to put together things with your own hands? You know, I mean, that's very, very important. I'm going again. Really? Is nobody else seeing me? Lord have mercy. Is everybody else having the trouble seeing? It's showing red. A wand, that's always important. That's one of the most powerful tools on your altar that you can have. The live stream is showing in red, which tells me that the internet signal is really it really sucks. I mean, what kind of luck is that, right? I carve my own working candles. That's always a good one. I work mine too. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I think that YouTube, I mean, to tell you the truth, this has really only been going on for about the past half week. It's quite possible that YouTube is having a lot of trouble. I hate blaming the big dog, but I never had so much trouble till about 3 to 4 days ago. And some people are saying that they see me, and some people are saying that they can't, that they aren't. And so, if that's the case, then it couldn't be everything on my part. And I don't think that it's everybody's fault on here. I think that it's got to be the medium, and that would be YouTube. But making your own soap for cleansing and consecrating yourself before rituals, making your own candles and carving them out. I do that all the time. And it's so easy to use a ballpoint pen or a quill to lightly indent or engrave your candles with your name, your birth date, before, and even your spell work. I mean, because I'll do scroll work all around my candle, you know, with the exact spell on it that I want it to be charged with. And then I'll anoint it after I cleanse it with holy water, you know. And so making candles is a really, really good one. Making your wand is a really good and powerful thing to do because it's one of your most potent tools on your altar. Making your own altar towel and using a wood burner to do so, there's an idea. Omira says, I make my own candle, oils, powders, baths, etc. So working with herbs a lot, I would think, as well as anointing and engraving your candles. I've made my own wand. I've been trying to make my own candles and soap. And if you can't make your own candles, I mean, well, a double boiler, or double broiler, whatever they call it, a double boiler is what they typically use with melting the wax to make your own candles with. And that's really, really powerful thing to do. You could actually burn some of your hair and kind of crisp it into the wax, stir it up, and add essence of yourself into it. Um, you can get molds online very easily, very cheaply, in the form of human figures. Type that in, human figure candle molds, and you'll pull up all kinds of things. They sell them on eBay and everywhere else. And these are particularly good if you want to use a pink or white wax for true love, pure love, things of that nature in a human form. Or red wax for sexuality, you know, influencing another, the black candle wax. So you can use any kind of candle wax, color that is, and you can dictate whatever color you need on the grounds or basis of what spell work you're going to actually do for that day. And how's it going, unlikely convert? I can't seem to find any of the special wood around here for making a wand, I guess. Let's see, very cool. I've carved all the spoons in my kitchen with sigils. That's interesting. I've never heard of anyone doing that, but that is very interesting. Let's see, especially if it's ceremonial dishes that you'll be using or feeding people with that come over for a group meeting or whatnot. Are you guys picking me up alright? Because it's showing a red live stream button, which means that it's very, very weak. And I don't know if I'm cutting out to you or if the picture is cutting out. And I would appreciate it if y'all would let me know. Let's see. So, making your own altar towel with a wood burner is a good idea. Grinding your own herbs, obviously, with a mortar and pestle set. Engraving your own candles, cleansing them and anointing them, that's a good idea. Pouring your own candle, and with uh, the right color wax. Getting the molds online, I did, and that was pretty cool. You can type in the kind or shape of a mold that you would like to get. Yin Yang candle mold, human figure candle mold, etc. You can, yeah, the stream is always a little bit slow, Jennifer. That would be the distance that uh, the internet travels from me to YouTube and then from YouTube to you guys. So it could be a little bit slow at times that way. But the picture being gone or the voice not being heard, that's the big problem here usually. And today it was just really mind-blowing how many troubles that I had trying to get the stream going. Like I said, I think that it's really YouTube in this particular case. A lot of people have been having trouble, and some of the viewers can see it, some can't. So it can't be mine, and it can't really be the viewers' problem. I think it's the medium, which would be YouTube. And now it's showing a yellow stream, which is better. And now my husband, knowing that I'm supposed to be doing a live stream, is trying to call, as fate would have it. Boy, I'm telling you. Anyway, so what other ideas do you have for making... Damn it. He's going to be trying to call in the middle of the show, and he knows what I'm doing. Anyway, what else, what other ideas do you have of things that you can make? I would love to see that. In 2013, I had the urge to make a spirit board for my pendulum work. That's a good idea. And you can even make your own pendulum, and it doesn't take a lot to do that. You could actually take your own favorite uh, cord, your own favorite amulet that you wear around your neck, particularly if it has a bottom point of some sort, and you can use that. Let's see, making earrings and necklaces, so making jewelry for your circle work or to wear around in your daily life that is pagan oriented and helps you empower. Dream catchers, and especially when you are appointing those a job. And generally it's to filter out your dreams of some particular something that might be bothering you, reoccurring, and that you don't want to see anymore, typically about exes or nightmares, you know. But these things happen for a reason, so it's always good to figure out exactly what your dreams are trying to tell you. But dream catchers are one of the best things that you can make for your practice or as an empowerment tool. Let's see. What else have I made? Oh yes, I have made a extreme cookie dough. I mean, you know, being very careful of my ingredients. And it kind of formed into a plaster after I baked it using a cookie stamp with a pentagram on it, and baked it in the oven on a certain temperature, and then I treated it on the outside so that it would be hard as a rock. And before that treatment would dry, I put an opal in the center, which is my birthstone, and it made a very powerful talisman, especially after I was through decorating the outside and all of that. I took it to a gambling casino and won $25,000 at one time, and then I lost the talisman. I must have left it on the machine or whatever, but the fact of the matter is it did one major thing for me, and then it was gone. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mystic Witch, long time no see. Always a pleasure to be at one with you. Let's see. Well, that's alright. The show was late, too. I mean, we could not get this damn thing jump-started for my life. And still people are saying once in a while they don't see a picture, but it's when YouTube's thing goes into the red or whatever. I don't understand the full workings of it, but I'm pretty sure it's not me, and I'm pretty sure it's not you guys' computer. I'm pretty sure it's YouTube. Oh, it's 11:11 a.m. here. It is 10, or at the time you said it, 10:11 here. You must be here in the U.S. Let's see. Good to see you. Anyway, so yeah, I love making stuff of mine. One thing that people did not say, which I was really looking for and hoping that somebody would name, was clothing. Your own robe. Or taking a robe or taking a shirt and adding a patch onto the back of it and sewing it on, not gluing, by the way. Because gluing is so just not right with everything that we're doing here. You know, sewing on a pentagram patch or a triquetra or trichopolis, let's say a triskel, whatever symbols that you would use, a yin yang, a inverted cross. I mean, you would make your own clothes. That would be one of the things. Your own tablecloths, and you're stitching in everything that you feel. Your own sachets or wraps for your tools that have colors, you know, of silk that would correspond with the direction that the tool belongs in. These are a good thing to actually make. Some of the easiest, actually, and some of the most thought-provoking, because how many of you agree that you could sit there and actually astral and scry and meditate while you're hand stitching something that you would use, that could be used for your altar cloth or as a shirt or toga, wrap of some sort? I mean, you can lose yourself in that kind of work. Needlepoint, likewise, and stitching, cross stitching, knitting. I mean, you know, people use these methods, and they're very old style manners of creating blankets, clothes, and so forth. You know, so those are very, very good things that you can do. And I always suggest that people do that because it empowers you. It empowers that which you're wearing, and it's something that will stay with you. And maybe if you take care of it, you can pass it down to your children or your children's children. You know, your book of shadows. No one has ever mentioned so far your book of shadows. Creating your own. Decorating the cover with stones or enmeshments of sorts. Drawings, etc. Those are the top answers of things you could create for your altar. You know, these are the things that you could best create. And the top answers on the board here would be your wand, would be your book of shadows, would be your wearables into circle, would be your altar cloths. Those would be your biggest things you could create. Your staffs, which would go along the lines of the wand because they're in the same family of witchy tools, or pagan tools, excuse me, because I'm talking to everybody here and there's more than just witches here. Alright, hurry back, Angie. So, yes, creating things out of cloth. You know, your wraps, your sachets, your talisman inserts, your altar cloth, your clothes, etc. Your book of shadows, your wand, your candles. Candles are something you create, but mainly what I was aiming at here is your permanencies within your circle. Although I guess, you know, candles from one to the next, regardless of what your work is, you're going to be needing to engrave those. And so everybody really, really needs to get on board with doing their candle workings. I mean, because you might burn through a candle, but it doesn't mean you're not going to need another one following it up for whatever purpose that you would need a candle for. Voodoo dolls, puppets, is what a lot of people would call them. Those are really good things. And when you're creating those, knowing where to leave a little slit somewhere in the doll to where you can stuff hair or belongings of somebody's inside of it, you know, for good magic, by the way. Uh, so puppets or dolls, doll works, you know, are good ideas. Let's see. The jewelry was a good idea. And I believe that was Mitch Mary that brought up that she likes to do the making of her jewelry. Hmm. Earrings and necklaces, that's right. And then dream catchers, that was a good suggestion by someone. Um, different tapestries that could be painted, witchy hats, boxes, maybe not that you make, but that you can stain. And some people make their own boxes and stuff like that. But that is a pretty heavy thing for all of us to do, and without nails and tacks, because it should be without nails and tacks if it can be helped. Staining something can just about make something your own, but I would say taking a wood burner, and you can get those for like $7 or less, and then the little, you know, ends for it, $2.50 or whatever, using wood burning to make things your own, your altarplex. Taking, you know, and Walmart sells little oval shape plaque type things that cost next to nothing, under $5. You know, and they make them in ovals, they make them in circles, they make them in squares, and you could wood burn, like take and maybe use a pencil and lightly draw on there till you get it right, the pentagram or symbol that you would like on there, and then go over and wood burn that, because the wood burner is going to cover up any of your pencil markers. And then you can just stain the whole thing with, say, a redwood or an oak or whatever, and make it your own altar plaque, or do the top of a wooden box you get from Hobby Lobby or other stores where you can buy pre-made wooden boxes that are not finished yet. And you can take and make those into your own by adding your symbol on with a wood burner, or drawing them on, painting them on, and then staining around them the rest of the box or whatever. So there's some ideas for you. What are some ways that you can make something your own, although you didn't make it with your own hands? Candles was one thing. I mean, if you buy candles and they're not poured by you or made by you, you can still add the names and birthdays onto them and anoint them and cleanse them, making them your own that way. So candles are easy to make your own, because we like to go the whole mile and put ourselves into that, you know. Um, Making ourselves, let's see, Serafina, my favorite is making witchy containers for all my items, boxes mainly. And that's really good, and you can do so much to be creative with that. The whole idea of making things into your own is exercising your creativity, as well as implementing yourself into something so that it will know. The item will resonate with you, and you will vibrate at the same level with each other, and it'll work to make that magic happen for yourself. Inscriptions of your sigils. You know, when you make your sigil, like I've showed you in one of the videos that I made, actually it was a live stream about a month ago or so, you make your sigil and you implement that on your boxes through either wood burning or painting, although I do suggest wood burning. It is more natural, you know, and it leaves the chemicals out of there. And anytime we can leave the unnecessary chemicals out of our witchy makes, then it's the best that, you know, for us. But, you know, the whole idea behind the name witchcraft is, well, for one thing, the title witch, I mean, which was probably bestowed on us by a bunch of uh, judgmental people that tagged us with that, and then we just adopted it later. But craft is on that, which means we like to work with our hands. We like to do certain things, and you know, I've known sword makers and metal crafters. I've known wood fashioners and leather toolers. I mean, you know, and I think that these people are very awesome. It's hard enough to where none of us can just pick it up whenever we want, do something, throw it aside, and then work on the other one that isn't typical within our means, you know. But there are so many different things that you can grab and get and put it together and use your own hands to make it you know. I make magical jewelry and I charge it. I have sold quite a few. And so making magical jewelry is always, always a good one. Now, let's talk about your, what is it called? Your metal engraver. You can get those at the store at next to nothing, under $50. And they have, a, you know, the little tips on the ends, and you can actually engrave into metal. And so you can take coins and you can actually engrave it on the back to make it your own. And so that's a very, very good idea for you if you want to make your own thing of that nature. Making your own belt for your rope is a good idea. Making your own sheath for your double-edged athame is a good idea. For one thing, you don't want that athame running around loose in a tight circle of a lot of pagans. And for another thing, you want to have your athame handy. And generally, on your side, when you're walking around, circle is a good idea for either your wand or your athame. Let's see, does anybody else have any other good ideas on tools that you can make or items that you can make within circle? Or does anybody have any questions? Let's see, Moonstone Dreamer says, hi everyone, I love the idea of making jewelry. And jewelry is one of the funnest things that you actually can make for your circle. I mean, we all love our jewelry. We really do. And they hold so much energy. Are you guys picking me up? I'm not seeing anything moving in the chat room. And if so, is the chat room actually moving? Say hello. And I can know. Let's see. People are coming into the room, but it's not showing anybody talking. Is anybody there? I'm having so much trouble with the chats today. And it's showing 12 people in here, and it shows people coming in and out, but nobody's talking. Is there no picture? Hey Freaky, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Making your own pins, and one of the funnest things you can do is taking like a pin like a pin insert, and you could take like a feather, and some of the witchy shops online sell feathers that are big enough to where you could snip the end off and it'll leave an opening in there wide enough to where you could slide a pin insert into it. And we all know that the feather is all about air communication, and what is writing but communicating somehow, form, or fashion. Welcome, Jason. It's good to see you. See, I'm getting all of these that everybody can hear me, but it's coming up later, so there's definitely a lag there. Hey, baby, how are you doing, and how is work going? Welcome to the room, Jason. It's good to see you, and it's a first seeing you in here, so you're very welcome. And we are talking about things you can make with your own hand or do for your circle, have on your altar, that you do with your own hands, and it makes you feel better about yourself. Serafina, you know, that is a good name. Serafina Green even more. I mean, like, you know, of the earth. It's very earthy and of the trees and nature. Let's see. But anybody else have any other ideas as to what one could make to go on their altar? I thought that the pen idea, writing utensils, and all of that is good. Let's see. Video and audio seems good on my end. Thank you. Let's see. I'd like to have a go at making candle holders. Wow, that's an interesting idea. And probably the easiest and best metal that you could work with would be pewter. Because it is, for one thing. How's it going, Manda? Welcome to our room. I'm seeing some new faces here, and that's always a pleasure. I think Manda's been in here once already. Let's see, but only about once. A really pretty smudge fan. A smidge fan. What is that exactly, Freaky? I've never heard of that. Let's see. But yes, candle holders. Pewter would be the best metal for that because it will contract a little of the metal or a little of the energy and hold it for a short while. But it doesn't have to be a metal that will hold it infinitely, and you can still release it and send it off into its destined place. Okay? So pewter is a really good metal to use for making your candle holders with, and implementing stones into it would be very easy. Also, pewter melts at a very low temperature, so very easy to work with and form. And so yes, I do keep an eye on who comes in and out of the room, and I do recognize people pretty well, Manda. I'm pretty good at that. I generally am very much at one with whoever, whenever they come in, and get to know them pretty easily. But yes, let's see. Your food for your altar, your offerings for your deities, making them with your own hands. Who all is on board with that? I mean, you know, that's something I don't ever do, okay? I never make my own offerings for libation. But when we go to a big gathering, great, Elmira, I'm glad that you do. I think that YouTube is really having a lot of trouble with the videos lately, and especially over the past week or so. But making your own libations. Now, when we go to a big gathering, Mabon or whatever, Beltane, then there's cakes and ale in celebration. And people actually make these to bring them. They'll make a wine and they'll make breads, and other people will make the food no matter what it is. And I think that that's a very good idea, even when you're just doing your own circle ritual, or when you're just sitting at your own altar in your own temple. I, I, I feel pretty good about you too, Amanda. I find that this energy in this room is always so amazing that by the time we get through with the show here, I'm walking around in a rum-dum phase, you know? I feel so full of energy and so charged up. Okay, so my lady has a very detailed offering bowl that I painted. Okay, Bridget is who she calls to and who the offering bowl is made to. I make everything for her extra special. That's a good idea. So, clay and pottery, going to a pottery shop if you don't have the tools of your own. But they do make a lot of self-drying clay if you wanted to go into that. And if you go about things that way, you can inset stones into it, and it makes it so special, so particular, especially whenever you already have a deity that the offering bowl would be attributable to. You could set certain stones that are synonymous with that god or goddess. You can put certain colors in it, or maybe certain detailed insignias around it, in pain, or just indenting it with, say, the end of your athame. Remember, you can use tools for your altar to make other tools for your altar, and you would be sharing some of the energy between both and connecting your tools together, which is always very powerful. Like, for instance, if you make a wand with your own hands, and you've already made an athame with your own hands, or you did something to make the athame yours already, and say you've had it for a long time, so never would part with it, and it's got this amazing amount of energy, then what you might do is take the end of your athame and you might inscribe. Okay, you might scribe into certain points of your wand a certain sigil to do with you or your craft, and thereby you would be sharing the energy between your athame and your wand, making it very powerful, and be welcoming one instrument onto your altar by all the other instruments. Hey Talon, it's good to see you. And we were all late today. I was late even getting the show to working, right, because it was just crazy. Just really, really crazy. When I first started, I made the red braid recommending Scott Cunningham's book for making a circle. I still have it. You could tell us a little bit more about that, because I don't really remember that one. I do, by all means, suggest Scott Cunningham to all newcomers within magic, whatever pathway you're on. Welcome, Preston. Nice to see you and meet you. I've never seen you in the room before, but you're very, very welcome. And it's a very, very good room indeed. I'm sure you'll find that out. What's a good tool to inscribe on wood if you don't have an electric inscribing tool? Let's see, a wood burner would be your best, because it is definitely leaving its mark in there. And it's giving the smell of the wood to the air and to the gods and goddesses, to the spirits about you. So the best ace number one would be your wood burner, and you can get those for $7. You know, I've watched your videos in the past, never seen you live though, and I kind of figured about that. And Bill Harley, it's good to see you. I've not seen you in the actual room here either, but I know you. And you're very welcome. I hope that y'all enjoy the energy of the room here that we've got going on. Don't have a wood burner either, but you can get one for $7. That's the beauty of it. Hot glue guns, wood burners, metal inscribers. You can get these for under $20. I mean, they all range up under $20 for the cheapest ones, and they work really good. And if you don't want to go out and buy the wood burner, if you don't want to go about it that way, use the point of your athame, like I just said, because it will be welcoming one tool with another tool and making it feel at home. And that's very, very important. You want to associate all your tools together. That way, all the other tools are saying, you know, it's my pleasure to meet you, and I will be working with you to the best of my ability, although we are in reference to different directions, different sides of the altar. But that's the beauty of it. Everything on your altar makes one working item, like a fine engine. And without you there, it would be nothing. Without the gods and goddesses, there it would be nothing. And without the tools there, it just wouldn't be the same. I made it 3 plates of 3 stands of cord. 3 plates of 3 stands of cord. Strands of cord, I'm sorry. I think it's 9 feet long and made for beginners to use. And what he's talking about, or what Freaky is talking about here, and is about the red braid that was talked about in Scott Cunningham's book, the red cord. And so this is how the red cord was actually made from Scott Cunningham's book. And like I said, I suggest Scott Cunningham's work for beginners left and right, as well as Raymond Buckland's complete book of witchcraft. You may also hear it called Uncle Bucky's Big Blue Book of Witchcraft, and you know, that's a mouthful. It really is. But let's see. So the red cord, actually the red braid, would be a very, very good tool to use. The purple boy, Shannon, it's good to see you. Welcome again to the show, and it's been a while since you've been on here. Big Blue, that's right, and one of the oldest books, and I've always told all my students, right off the get-go, go get the Big Blue book, you know, because that is what I'm going to start you in. Why? Because it covers a little bit of everything, but by no means does it cover everything of everything that you need. So it's a damn good starter book, and they take you even from a little bit of history forward. They cover your runes to some degree. They cover sigil magic to a small degree. I mean, it has a little bit of everything in it. You know, and it at least tells everybody, you know, hey, you know, this is where you begin. This is where you start. This is the stuff you should be checking into. Hey, Harley, how's it going? So that's what I would suggest to the new beginners to start in would be Scott Cunningham, Raymond Buckland's complete book of witchcraft. Let's see, Jarena Dunwich does a good gardening book for witchcraft. Let's see. The ones that you would watch out for starting out would be Aleister Crowley, because this is very, what is the word I'm looking for? Uh, Silver Raven Wolf and Raymond Buckland's are considered to be very controversial among witches. So I would start out being very careful of what books could be considered controversial when there are so many books out there that are just right for the beginner. Now, Raven Grimassi books are books that are good for people regardless of whether you're new, older, or in between. You know, but just more apt to be for those that are midways, you know, in their elevation throughout their pathway, regardless of what pathway they're on. And Shannon says, been busy with work recently and it's my day off, so I get to see my favorite psychic, you. And it's always a pleasure to see you also, Shannon. It really is. And to talk to you. Whether it's on my Twitch account and gaming, you know, whenever I feel like gaming for people, or for the Facebook account and talking with you there and here. Aleister Crowley was referred to as the Beast because he had some very, very dark ideas and concept of what magic is. He had some very good ideas, but do realize that some of our best ideas did come from dark practitioners. And in the oldest days, there was a fine line between what was okay and what was not okay in witchcraft. We were all actually shunned by other religions anyway as being dark, regardless of whether we were or not anyway. You know, but yes, whether we agree with another person's workings or not, or their book ideas, then to some degree they have contributed to what we do today in witchcraft. Light, dark, good, bad, and different, it doesn't matter. They've contributed. Even Christianity has contributed a great deal to what we do today in Wicca and witchcraft. Whether we want to face that or not, you know, it's the truth. And yes, Christianity did come way after witchcraft, but it came before Wicca. So, you know, it's a give and take thing. The idea is, though, is that we're able to separate it out and decipher what we feel is right or wrong for ourselves. Sheena says, somehow I always make it in about the 45 minutes mark. And it's funny, we didn't even start, Sheena, till about I would say 15-20 minutes after we were supposed to. So yes, you are very synonymous with the number 9, numerologically speaking. And by the way, speaking of numerology, I suggest that all of you pick up a certain amount of astrology, numerology, color symbology, and symbology of basic symbols. Take it to yourself to some degree and work with it, whether you're doing your scrying, regardless of the tool, and your witchcraft work, Wiccan work, shamanism, druidism, whatever. It could be very important because the earth is actually, calculated by numerology. And color symbology is so important to everything anyway. So it depends on your spirit. It really depends on your spirit. It really does. You make something your own or you don't. You take what you will and you leave what you won't. And that is my favorite saying right there. One of my favorite sayings. And I only have a couple, And one of those is, and I can sit here and tell you what they are just like that, meaning that you can tell that I really stick by a couple. You take what you will and you leave what you want is one of them. And another one is, there is no religion that is entirely right nor one that is entirely wrong, but that all have some validity to them. And so, I mean, that's correct. And that's by no means saying that every religion has, evil in it or whatever, but it does. I mean, in all reality, there's good and bad sides to every religion. And for the Christian God, there is God and then there is Satan. For the upper world deities within paganism, you have the underworld deities. And no one is saying that these are evil or shouldn't be called on. I don't judge, trial, or condemn anyone or tell anybody how to live their pathway. I am a show that dictates to everyone that you should make your religion your own. And that goes with my saying, you take what you will and you leave what you won't. And that means listen to everyone. Give everyone a certain amount of respect. Talk to them, listen to them, share with them. And if you can, by any means, take some part of what they've told you with you and through your life. And if they've said anything that does not resonate with you or you cannot make part of your own, don't hesitate but to leave it by the wayside. Wipe it away from you like dirt on your feet on a doormat. Let's see. So it depends on, okay, you will know who's good and bad. It depends on your feeling and spirit. And it really is. I mean, and what is good or bad in your opinion? Do remember that good and bad, there's a fine line with some people, and it's hard for others to be objective. What is good and bad? It's up to the typical individual to decide. Welcome back, Seraphina. It's good to have you back. Always a pleasure to have you back. And this, for those of you who do not know, Seraphina is my moderator and good friend here on the channel, and has kind of hung by my side with me since the beginning, and because she was helping me out in the room and was so good at it, and acknowledged everybody coming in, and just a really beautiful soul. I made her my moderator in the room, and my husband is the other moderator. Anyway, so yes, it is a fine line between what is good, bad, white, black, gray, dark, or light, good and evil. I mean, it's a fine line in that, and it's up to everybody to decide what is good or bad. It's up to your pathway to construct you if you're learning by book. But generally, and I love you too, Seraphina. You're a very sweet person. Very good heart. Um, and you're very welcome, Harley. It's a pleasure for me to be able to teach and to talk to people about the subject that I love. Be at one with you guys. I mean, it's amazing. But you know, those were very, very good points, Harley. And pardon me for calling you Harley. I have a hard time calling you Build, or and I can't pronounce the whole of your name right there. So I'm calling you Harley, and it's by the love of my heart. I feel okay with doing that. Anyway, yes. So make your religion your own. Do decide before you select a path or tag and title yourself. Decide on where you're heading. And by all means, before you cast up an altar and start throwing around that magic, decide what could set well with you in the future or what might backlash. Because you may feel that you're of one pathway and not really know, and just throw up an altar and start casting a spell in a week of reading about witchcraft, thinking you know what you want, but a month afterward decide you're on a totally different path altogether, and what goes against their belief system would be that which you've already done. And so now you're already judging, trialing, and condemning yourself within your soul for that which you've already done, and so you'll never be able to make that pathway your own. And so I cannot express enough to the people that are new within witchcraft, Wicca, uh, shamanism, druidism, Satanism. I mean, whatever pathway you're on, decide what is good or bad, and learn what path you're truly on with your wisdom and your knowledge. What resonates with you with the God system, the uppers, the lowers, or if there is actually a God system and not just low magic's aid, which is using the energy of the earth to get what you want. You know, decide this before you add a tag and title to yourself, before you take on a new pagan name, because even your pagan name would be reflectant of your system that you're taking onto yourself. Take care of yourself, Harley, and come back and visit us again. Generally at Sundays at 9:30, but sometimes I will throw up a surprise live stream. But merry meet and merry part. Take care of yourself today. Anyway, for the rest of you here, any other ideas or suggestions that you would like to throw up, things that we haven't covered that you would like to, questions you have about the things that we have covered, would be very important and good to have here. Um, Basically, what we talked about is items, making them your own, and how that could be very, very powerful for you. Connecting your tools one to the other, how that could be very important. Watching yourself when you're new in paganism about casting up magic when you're not yet sure of what path you're on, and doing things that could go against you in the long run. Does anybody want to add anything to that by any means? Let's see, somehow always, okay, trying to go back to the boards here, and it looks like I'm pretty well covering everything. It really does depend on your feelings on things and how you'll feel about things in the future. You don't know when you're going to do something that later on will make you feel bad about what you're doing. And as far as your sigils, you really should know what pathway you're on before you try to create sigils. What's the best way? Question mark. Covenant or solitary? Okay. Alright. I have been in covenants, and I guess you couldn't come to a better person than what you are right here. I've done all three. I've joined other people's covenants, several of them. I've risen through the rankships in other people's covenants. I have acted as high priestess in the highest standing in a covenant that I myself created, and now I'm practicing solitarily, mainly because I grew very, very tired of all the other. Now, You know, I can't sit here and tell you what is going to be best for you. But I can tell you my experiences in that. I think that that should be product of another show, though. That is so very deep. Let's see. All right. Going into other people's covenants. I was new. I needed guidance, and it helped me very much getting all the knowledge and wisdom that I could from so many other people. Because you cannot just cast out the ideas of somebody else's wisdom being of a help to you by any means. And reading books will help you to some degree, but when you get hands-on training by a passel of witches or shamans or whatever you're entering into, that is being fresh clay melted by the correct hands, you know. And if you ever fear them, abide your spirit and run away quick if you don't feel good about them, you know. But you'll know inside yourself upon entering that. And so going into other people's groups is obviously the best solution when you're new. When you're insecure about leading a group, or when you're insecure about talking in front of others, joining other people's groups would be the best way, beginning out now. I feel that everyone should at least once in their life join in a group and get some hands-on training by other people. And watch out what I mean by hands-on training. There are a lot of corrupt groups out there that would really love to get their hands on you, and I mean on the gazongas or whatever. You know, be careful. There's a lot of people out there that like to corrupt their power over you. So there are some negatives and positives to joining a group, and I do not by any means want to lead you into a place where you are going to have to deal with that whatsoever. But all in all, I found that solitary practitioners and having friends that are not in a circle with you, or are in a circle but a different kind of circle with you, is the best way. Leading a group is very tiring. I did it for 13 years. I was held with great love and admiration by the students that I had, and I've got students everywhere. But they were always around, laying around my house, eating up my food, you know, and I never had any alone time. And so in that way, leading a group can be very troublesome. Everybody is always seeking you out, and or not ever leaving, and that's one big thing. Being in a group is good at least one time in your life, and being in there for a good while, learning from people hands-on is always great. But there is a lot of people trying to control you as well, people trying to get their hands on you sexually or whatnot. I find this to be the case in all religions. It's you're going to have your corruptors, you know, people that like to corrupt their power. And in those cases, I think that you'll feel what they're trying to do when you come into contact with their energy, and you'll know when to run. If not, you will very quickly. As far as solitary practice, I find that it can be very lonely at times at the same time. And loneliness can be your worst enemy. Okay, so can being groped by a corrupt practitioner. You know, it can be lonely being a solitary practitioner. All-time best answer here for you, Mitch, and for everybody that would like to know, from somebody that has traveled all these pathways. Being a solitary practitioner but having a lot of friends that you can go see in person is the best answer. It's very, very hard for a lot of people, and probably even most, because some people are just too afraid of getting among other pagans. Some people just are way out in the country and cannot. Some people just are solitary and introverted by nature. And so, you know, I think really you should have a taste of all of the above. I really do. Because we are people that try to know all that we can. Become one with all ideas and facets of everything. And so naturally, this as well as everything you should try. But, you know, it's very hard for those that can only connect in with other pagans by internet. And I find that there is a great deal of them. But yes, solitary practitioner, where you actually get together with friends that also practice similar pathways as you. Talking with people like this on the internet is very good, and so that's what I like to suggest for people, especially starting out. You want to know what it is to be in a coven. So covenant practice may be good for you, but you should start out learning enough on your own and then trying the covenant practice and then deciding from there which one you like. Solitary is important in the way that you'll not be innocent going in among a bunch of people that you don't know. And covenant practice will be putting you in the hands of people that, if they're not corruptors, they will teach you and teach you good, and you'll know the joy of being around other pagans, and it'll help you to be able to celebrate your pathway. And that's the importance of other people here. Celebration of your pathway. Knowing what it is to be pagan really is contingent to a certain degree on seeing other people practice. Being able to see other people celebrate their pathway and knowing the joy of it, having it resonate with you in that way. It's good to have been with you, Angie. Bright blessings on your day, and come back and visit us. Don't forget, we'll be doing another show Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. I think that it's been a good show so far, too. Anyway, so being at one with other people has its reward. And Preston says, I like coven practice, but I think we all should have a solitary practice to some degree. It is a lifestyle after all. And that's true. So Preston here is more or less agreeing with me on things. You should try everything. Generally, now, I'll go back with what I said and say you need to study a good deal solitarily, so that you don't get off into a group or covenant as an innocent and have somebody trying to corrupt their power over you and misguide you in a different way. Or you'll be able to, whenever you put yourself in the public eye, to stand down a stubborn and obstinate Christian who wants to try to put you in your place, etc. You need to be equipped. And by all means, that's what shows like this is for. You know, it's lonely being a solitary practitioner. But jumping off and into the frying pan, you know, or from the stovetop to the fire without ever making it to the frying pan is going to crisp you. You need to be equipped with knowledge and wisdom on how to stand down obstinate people, people who think they know everything within paganism, or people who think that their way is the only way, as in a lot of Christians and so forth. So, I mean, you know, you have your negatives on both sides. See you, Angie. Take care. You have your negatives and your positives on all sides, actually. But you need to be equipped. And these shows like this on YouTube, I really think that this is a new and good way to deal with things. You know, get online, talk to other people that are like yourself, get a taste for what other people look at and agree with, and what's right or what's wrong, and draw conclusions for yourself. Then get around other people and then take in a little bit of what they have to offer. And remember, take what you will and leave what you want, because not everything then that what one would say to you would be either entirely right for you or wrong for you. So you take bits and parts of it wherever possible. I love this too. It was a really good thing. And I love to throw up and that's where I reserve the right to say, okay, I'm doing one video in the evening a week that will, you know, be queued ahead of time. But I also like the little surprise all right, we're going to have a show, you know, type thing, because that is where it really resonates with me. And I throw up a show at a time where I say, you know what, I really feel like doing this. I really have a topic that's eating at me, and I want to put this shit together. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll get on Facebook or Google Plus or wherever I can reach out to you guys and say, okay, we're going to do a surprise show in 30 minutes. And this is what I'm thinking the topic is going to be. But wherever it goes from there, I just don't freaking know. You know? And that's okay, because that's where you have the best shows. That's where I'm sitting here and I'm talking about the things that you guys wanted to know. I'm sitting here and answering questions for you on things that people have asked about. It was good to see you, Siren, and join us again tomorrow night. But yeah, these are the best topics I find when we throw it together and we're in the mood for it. And sometimes I'll feel like live streaming, but won't know what the hell I want to talk about. And so I'll put on there, Coffee with Lady Leeanna. We're doing it in 30 minutes. You ask the questions, don't know what the topic is. Or I'll put it in some screwed up way like this that will indicate to you that it's fly by the seat of the pants. And sometimes you just can't beat that, because some of you guys may have something that's been on your mind and haven't been able to put it out there, or don't know who to ask. So always the good thing. It is Coffee with Lady Leeanna, but haven't had any. I get caught up with talking to you guys. The energy is just awesome in here. It always is. And I love it. Anyway, TM. Oh, hey, how's it going? It hurts the most when women work against another woman, and children with a man for money. Seems anti-goddess. Shouldn't we come together to aid other women in earth? Always we should. And that's what I was saying about how it's always good to get out there and work covenant style for a while so you can see if it really resonates with you. But do remember, a lot of people are very introverted, although good. And a lot of people get scared when they go into these situations, thinks, you know, they may not how to read something. And so having that bit of solitary practice for a while is always good. When you practice on both sides of things, it's good to make a more calculated decision based around what you like the best, you know. And so when somebody asks me what is the best, I can give you my opinion. But that is just my opinion. And I can't answer for everybody. You know, the fact of the matter is I enjoyed every one of them. Solitary practice in the very beginning when I was by myself. Covenant practice when I finally found one. Internet talks and communications. That's another one that we haven't mentioned. Let's see. Joining in my first covenant and going up, growing with them, and being there so long through the ring ships that it did me a lot of good and taught me so much. Getting into a covenant or going into being amidst another covenant where over the half of the people were corrupt, and that all I read was drama from all of these people shooting around each other. And one of them, well, I won't go into all of that, but I find that in the world there is a lot of people that like to corrupt their power among other people. Women working with women is good, but men have to be in there as well. As far as people working together, you know, there's not only a goddess, but there is also a god. And we have to pay homage to all sides of this, masculine and feminine. You know, but people working against other people is always a bad thing. It really is. And, you know, when you can bring other people together to work with you to help battle something like this, it's always a great thing. Sheena Hubbard says, I've just now started to talk and share with others. Drama is not my thing, and I have a hard time trusting others. And I'm the same way that you are. And whenever I walked into this one covenant, and it was, let's see, there's been a few times actually when I was brand new. I went into one and I wouldn't say that I ever became a part of it. I walked in there and, it was so scary, but that could have been being a new pagan. That could be that I just didn't know what was good or bad, right or wrong at that time. But I walked into one, say 10 years ago, and I tried. I walked among them a couple of times, and even had my own group going at this point in time. But I walked among them a couple of times. I joined their group in a session, not entirely, but joined in their group in a session. And the very first one, I felt all this drama playing in. People shooting and darting eyes at each other with anger, like some of them must have been screwing with other people's men or women or whatever. I could feel all of this animosity that they had for each other, and it had to come from somewhere. And I read people real well. I am a damn good psychic. And, I can read people's energy. I can read their faces, and this wasn't good. And so I had made it a plan not to go back. But then they had invited me and my covenant to join them in their covenant because they were going to burn the object of their ways. And that was they were going to take all of the pages out of the books and burn them and start fresh and new. And I thought that might be a good idea for anyone. So I braced my covenant up on this because I wouldn't have taken them in any way other than making sure they were ready for that. And said, don't take to their ways, be quiet, watch what's going on for a while. Because these are all my students. I don't want them falling prey to people that aren't sure where they're heading, and generally they're getting on each other's toes and nerves. So basically I braced them up and took them over there, and I could still feel the negative energy over there. Well, their group disbanded within 2 years of that and have scattered to the four corners of the earth, And some of them being sought out by the law, from my understanding, and I don't want to talk gossip, so I kill that there. Let's see. Tim says, how does one find a coven in their area? Generally, you would have to do that through the web or through a friend. If you have a friend in your area that knows of one, talk to other people. Be more open, because if you can't be open enough to find, if you can't be open enough to talk to people and find a covenant in your area, you're not going to be open enough to be around one. The internet is by far the best solution that I have for you, because the internet reaches into everything. And basically, you could find by going to your state or whatever, or using your state as keywords, as well as finding a covenant, pagan covenant group, whatever group meeting. Keywords like that is the best way you could do in finding your group. Let's see. Serafina says, but if the people in this room was a covenant, I would totally join. Love you guys and gals. And I would too. I think that it would be a very, very good and sweet covenant. I feel that there's a lot of new pagans in the room. There's a lot of people that are still trying to learn, and that's good. I wish them Witchbox is the largest one, the largest clipboard that you could put information on, but there are other ones too. Like there was a spiritual, what is that, Spirit Connect or something like that, but it's another witchy site where people can connect in and all of that. But Witchbox is the best one that I found, and I actually used to advertise on there my pagan shop, where I sold my material at that point. Yeah, you can find all kinds of stuff on there for me on this pathway. See, so there are some pretty new people here. Mitch has only been on her pathway for 8 months. I've been on mine for 34 years, but I'm an eclectic spiritualist, and I know very real what my path is, and it is many. It's eclectic spirituality. However, I have a witchcraft Wiccan base. Witchcraft beginning, Wiccan they're following, and then I studied in Buddhism, shamanism, and Druidism to lighter degrees, you know. And so I know me for who I am on all sides. And it's really, really good for you to get to know yourself. Shake hands with your light side to your dark side. Get to know who you are and what you feel. The energy is pretty incredible. It really is. And whenever you start to feel this energy, you guys should light a candle, a green candle or a white candle to help promote that energy. A black candle for drawing in power and making it work for you. So light your candle, you know. Get it going and concentrate this energy into that so you can take it through your day and withstand anything, you know. But yes, being at one with other pagans is very crucial in my opinion. Whether you're in a group with them or you just go and you meet with them and talk and have coffee, or if you don't know any because you're way out in the sticks, or just so introverted, go online and look it through. You know, groups like this, that's what we're for. Anyway, yes, the energy is excellent, but I'm going to get off of here, I guess, and draw the room to a close. Is there anything that anybody else would like to say before we do that? You know? And by the way, the idea with the candle is an excellent one. When we start talking like this, the energy gets amazing. And you could use a stone in your hand that draws energy and hold on to it while we're going through this show. Or you could light a candle or both and be at one with me, because even if I'm not doing a ritual here on the set, doesn't mean that you can't. As far as doing rituals, everybody is always trying to get me to do so. But, you know, I'm on a large daybed couch thing, and I could catch things on fire with my candles, as well as, you know, the camera would cut off certain events to either side, you know. But it doesn't mean that we won't do some little light rituals here, you know. Doesn't mean that you can't, though. Bring your tea, bring your candle, bring your stones or crystals or whatever you want to do. Y'all have a blessed day. I loved being at one with you. Well, you could always get something like this. And this isn't a candle, it's electrical, you know, and it is ambient. You can do things like that. You could play a little light music in the background, even while I'm talking to you. You know, and I know a lot of you guys are at work, and so you're not able to do the things that I'm talking about. But you can light a little lamp like this and you know, maybe wear a little essential oil on the wrist or something that you can smell while doing this, and put on a little ambient music. So that's the best idea I can give for you there. And so maybe we should have a show. Maybe the show tomorrow night should be a Witchcraft Wicca Pagan Practice in the Office. Maybe it should be Pagan Practice in the workplace. What do you think? Would that be a good topic for Wednesday night, 7:30? Well, it's good to know, Sheena. And so whenever I throw up that surprise show, then that would be really excellent. Yeah. Okay. So Seraphina, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7:30, I will cover witchcraft in the workplace or paganism in the workplace, something along those lines. And I think that would be a good idea. As many of you guys that I actually talk to about this, you know, or have, you know, shit, I just totally got lost. As many of you guys that are working while I am doing this show, I need to cover that. Hey Sue, how are you doing? Sue says, hi, I'm from Greece. Sorry, only just joining you. The last streaming I caught you were saying that burning sage would clear negative souls. Why does it not clear positive souls also? Certain things are made for cleansing and purification, and that would be because it targets the dark and negative. There are certain ideas and suggestions that go with it in my way of thinking. Um, I'm not gonna. Yeah, semantics is pretty heavy, but from my way of thinking, this is only from me. I was taught from the earliest part of my pathway that sage, as well as other cleansers that are peppery smelling and very strong, things that would irritate the individual nose, would also drive out negative spirits. And I believe that to a large degree, it's the mentality that you're taking. You're doing a spell work. When you're lighting that up, you've got intentions going into that sage wand. Okay? You have intentions going into that. And the intentions, the prayers, the hope, the will for it to drive those spirits out is your answer. That's what makes it work. That's my opinion only. You know, to others they may say it's the smell of it. Others may say that it's because it's a blessed herb of whatever deity, and you know, there's a lot of validity to that if you go back into the oldest, because certain herbs are synonymous with certain deities, and that's cause for another show all on its own. However, I will say that I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything because no one within one lifetime can study everything, and that's why we rely on people that are herbalists or people that are rune casters instead of tarot card readers, you know, because I only have so much time to study what I can, and that's why we do these rooms right here. um, but yeah, some of my roomies here are friending each other up on Facebook, and I think that's really cool. Joining on Facebook is very, very important. I don't talk to people on individual emails so much because people don't know that I have 7,000 subscribers on two different channels. That's 5,000 on this channel and 2,000. Oh, you're very welcome, Sue. I was glad to be of a help. I hope that it did be of a help to you. But I have 5,000 subscribers on one channel, 2,000 subscribers on another one. And so when people say, hey, I want to talk to you on a personal level, can I just go to your email and all that? And I'll say, wait a minute. And I'll kind of freak out, you know, because I have 7,000 people all wanting to talk to me on a personal level and contact me. And it's, you know, it's very, very hard. So when people friend me on Facebook, I can let them know what's going on with me with one message, you know? And whenever I do get time, I can look at whatever message they may send over to me, or I may be able to scroll down their page, and it keeps me on track with what they're doing, and it keeps me on them on track with what I'm doing, and I feel that it's tit for tat, and it works out just great, you know? So, yeah, I mean, and so my Facebook. And by the way, that's Eclectic Spiritualist. I'm sorry, I've got some acid reflux kicking my ass. I'm going to have to deal with that in a minute. But Eclectic Spiritualist is how you're going to find me on Facebook. And you should friend me there if you haven't already. And that way I can, you know, be at one with you whenever we get the inkling to do so. And I also share my videos on there so you'll know when a new one comes out. And so this is a good idea for you. Alright everybody, I am going to really kill the show this time. It was good being at one with you. I love you all. And though the room will stay up and you can still talk and text for a little while after I get off of here, I am gone and I am out of here. And I will see you tomorrow night at 7:30 with talks on paganism in the workplace. Okay? Take care of yourself and bright blessings.